Welcome to Sight and Sound, episode 5, with our very special guest, John Thomas. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
It's such an honor and pleasure to play music with you.
Thank you.
I want to tell you, sorry.
It's a very fun session we just did.
Well, you know what's super cool is you have been on these records that I've been listening to for decades. You've been playing with Bruce Hornsby.
I'm that old, am I?
Well, it's not that. It's just
you've
been contributing to the music world in such a profound way. And you've done all these incredible tours with various artists. You were saying Tracy Chapman, and who was the other artist that you just said?
I toured with Don Henley, Sparks, Rita Coolidge, but my favorite name to drop is Captain Beefheart.
Oh wow!
That was his band when I was 20 years old. I didn't tour with him, but we made a record. It was like quite an experience.
That's crazy.
That guy's not like other men. He was a genius. He was above and beyond like anybody I'd ever met.
And I was shocked because we were talking during a break, and I said I sang at the Grammy Awards in 1990, and Bruce Hornsby and Don Henley were playing. You said I was in the band.
Yeah,
I was like, this is crazy. We were in the same room 35 years ago.
I know, a long time ago. Man.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what would you say is your philosophy on approaching music or playing that you've learned along the way?
Well, it's funny because, I've thought about music a lot in my life, of course, and it's something that comes so naturally and is so beautiful, but also is so easily derailed and sidetracked. Especially when I was, in my 20s and 30s, I'd be playing, my hometown, some Elks Lodge on a Saturday night or something, and it just felt like, man, I just played so fantastic last night. And then the next morning in a recording studio, when it really mattered, I'd be all jammed up and I couldn't play at all. I'm thinking, why is it that when nobody cares, it doesn't matter at all, I can just flow like a river, and here when it's like really important and I need to be good, I can't do that. And I realized that's exactly why, because I'm trying too hard and I want it too much, and for the wrong reasons. I want it to exploit it, capitalize on it,
right.
Use it for whatever, as opposed to want it just because I love it. And so that's my main thing, and it's more something I learned about myself than that I learned it, but I learned it from music.
You think it was just about like letting go and just
about
giving
letting
into
go
it?
and trusting that if you feel it, then it's important.
I love that.
If you let that go, it may even embarrass you. You may not even be proud of it because of your ego, but it will be the truest thing that you have to share with the world, and it will do everything that you want to do with it. It will do it on its own because it's true and honest and heartfelt.
What's really amazing is I remember a good friend of mine, Scott Little, another songwriter. He gave me the live record, Here Comes the Noisemakers, by Bruce Hornsby. And what an amazing band. And you're on that record.
Oh, yeah.
And when I came to this studio to work with Doug Messenger, I said, Doug, I don't have a keyboard. And he said, let me ask my buddy JT. You and I had never met.
I remember coming down here that
You didn't know who I was.
No, but I loved your songs.
Well, thank you. And you lent me your keyboard to lay down piano. I never forgot that. It was one of the kindest things any musician's ever done. And then we had you play on the record on I Wish I Knew, and every take you played was just pure magic. It's like every approach that you do.
Well, hearing it today,
you're like a Zen master.
I loved what was on the record, so I wouldn't have heard it and said, "Oh, that's me," because it's just sort of, this is kind of Zen unicorn stuff, but it's like when that really happens, you're not there. The you that you think of as you're so one with what you're hearing and what you're doing that the separate you, the ego you, isn't involved.
Right.
And if that gets involved, it detracts from it. I remember one of my greatest friends, who's a fantastic drummer, a guy named Moon Calhoun. We used to do this 5-night-a-week gig down at they called it the Riot House, the Hyatt House on Sunset, where like all Led Zeppelin stayed through the whole TVs out of the hotel room. So we were playing with like a Motown trio in the lounge, and we'd have these nights, and we're playing, and it's just so glorious. It's like everything's perfect. And then you start thinking about it. You'd realize, man, what's really happening? And that's when it would stop.
Right.
And we used to call it falling off the train. The minute you realize that you're on the train, you fall off.
Right.
You have to just not. You just have to stay
You
on.
have to be
it.
mindless almost.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
and immerse yourself in it. And so, but I think the real value of me even answering the question this way is that teaches me how to do that in other parts of my life.
Right.
Where I would never learn. When things really make you nervous, and you're afraid there's going to be some cataclysmic outcome and
Right.
shit's landing on you, and you don't know what to do about it. But if you realize that is the principle that that's the intelligence. That's
Right.
your most intelligent is when you're actually in the moment and dealing with what comes up, not when you're trying to figure it out what to do and looking at others say I should do what they did or.
Well, I love that you're saying that because I kind of look at you as a music shaman in a lot of ways.
Well, that's the shaman part, and I because of music, I'm learning to do that with the other parts of my life, too.
Right.
With my family, with my with my friends, with my car mechanic, whatever. Whatever it is, there's a way to, and of course this is all very Zen sounding, but it's a way that they call it Wu Wei, which is doing without doing.
Right.
They call it not doing.
I love that.
So we want to do something, you do it by not doing it. And I know that sounds all goofy, but
No,
that's what it is.
I love that. Who would you say are some of your biggest influences as far as players? Because you have quite a vast bag of tricks to pull from. Who would you say some of your biggest influences are as a player?
Well, just as a keyboard player, I would say George Duke.
Yeah.
Keith Jarrett.
Yes.
As an overall musician, I was a huge Frank Zappa fan when I was a kid.
I hear a lot of Leon Russell in your playing as well.
I never singled Leon out, but as I grew up and started discovering him, he was probably too late for me to call him an influence, but man, I want to be like him every chance I get. And other music that the thing I still go to, I started listening to when I was 12 or 13 thanks to Zappa, was Igor Stravinsky, his early ballets and his compositions. They're just so brilliant. And it's almost as if they just sprang to life. You can't even imagine a person thinking that up.
Right.
It's so fantastic,
That's the beauty of music.
Fully born. It's just, you don't hear any striving in it at all. All you hear is completion and perfection. So that's one of the gauges I use on my play, especially when recording. I try to, if I hear striving in it, then I think I can do better. Because when it's flowing, there's no striving.
Right.
And that's when people get it. When you're striving, people sense a little something. I'm going to say the way that I tell myself, the 3 words, I love you. We all say them. We can say them 100 different ways, 100 different people. But the minute someone says that to you, you know if they mean it or not.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the words.
That's true.
It's nothing to do with what they're saying. Either they mean it or don't. And I think music is like that. You can play all the right notes and learn someone's solo perfectly and copy it. But if you don't mean it, people know. And if you do mean it, people know. And it's not something that can be learned or studied.
Right.
It's something you are.
That's absolutely
and
true.
You live. And so that's what the kind of thing that I have learned to do with my talent.
What would you say keeps you still so inspired after all this time playing music? I mean, you've been on the road with Bruce Hornsby for 35 years. You've been on the road with Tracy Chapman. You're playing with Albert Lee, who's another legend. What keeps you inspired now?
Well, I have to say it's so simple to answer because I still love it.
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
love that. You give me chills.
It's like when your little kids grow up, you love them when they're 2, 3 years old, so easy to love. And when they're 35 in jail, you don't love them so much. But if you still love them, then that hasn't changed. So I just still love it. I love it more now than I did in my 30s and 40s when I was, ambitious, competing, trying to do gigs, bring home the bacon to the family, and in the business of music and all, possessed with building my career and all that. It was much more to take something you love and turn it into that. It's kind of like prostituting. It's like taking the most beautiful thing, which is making love, and using it to make money.
Right.
So I went through all that and came out the other end still loving it. So I don't know why, but I do.
Well, it shows in your playing. It shows in your solos.
Thank you.
I love making music with you. It's just been
Thank
such an
you,
honor.
man.
And thank you for being a guest on Sight & Sound.
My pleasure, and thank
really
you
appreciate
for
it.
letting me play with you early tonight.
Likewise, we'll make a lot more music. Don't forget about it.
I hope so.
Thank you so much, JT. Check out more performances with the NK Acoustic Trio coming up next.